all for joining us today. My name is Dave Cook. I'm the president of the Fairfax Resolves chapter. I wish to welcome you to this event, and I want to thank Reverend Krista Vichlis and the New Jerusalem Lutheran Church for housing us today. But before we begin the program, and in good Army tradition, we'll start off with a safety brief. It's going to be warm today. Please stay hydrated. We bought water. It's right over there in the gray cooler. Help yourself. If you need to use the restrooms, it's in that open door. Just keep going to the back. It's also air conditioned back there, so if you feel that you need to cool down a little bit, that's a good place to go. We're sharing this property with God's creatures, namely groundhogs. So as you move about the property, and especially the cemetery, watch your footing. For the wreath presenters, the graves are behind us. They extend from over there to over here. So the wreath presenters, if you present toward the wreath, then you are presenting to the patriots. Okay, and with that, I will now call the Reverend Ronald Pastor England of the Christian Community Church to lead us in the invocation. Would you please rise?
Yeah, I'm Reverend Roland England, and I'm actually filling in for Pastor Krista, who was unable to be here. Pastor Krista is a pastor here at New Jerusalem, so it's my honor to be able to be here, and I'd like to lead us in the invocation. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses as we remember the patriots who heard the call of duty and rallied to the cause of freedom. Help us to remember we stand on the shoulders of giants who left us a legacy of liberty. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for his friends. And for us, it is our call, and indeed our sacred duty, to honor them by our own dedication to the ideals for which they fought and died. And so, our gracious Father, we pray to be able to meet the challenges of our day, to protect and expand the blessings of life and liberty and the legacy that these and many others have passed on to us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor England. The colors will now be presented by the Combined Color Guard from Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. Actually, I got that in reverse order. It should be Maryland first. Virginia and West Virginia. State societies, members of the Color Guard are recognized in our program. Our Color Guard commander is Brett Onburn. Color Guard commander, please present the colors.
Color Guard. Carry arms. Color. Forward. March.
now call on compatriot
March. Detail, halt.
I will now call on compatriot Bill Denk, Second Vice President of the Fairfax Resolves Chapter, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Present, halt.
to the flag of the United States, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now call on John Thomas to lead us in the SAR pledge. It's in your program on the back of your program. Sorry.
We, descendants of the heroes of the American Revolution, who by their sacrifices established the United States of America, reaffirm our faith in the principles of liberty and our constitutional republic, and solemnly pledge ourselves to defend them against every foe.
I will now call on the Color Guard Commander to post the colors.
Post colors. Carry arms. Muskets. Shoulder fire lock. Right. Hey. Forward. March. All left. Forward. Detail. Halt. Muskets and flag bearers fall out.
How about a nice round of applause for our Color Guard? Nice job. We have a fantastic turnout today. We have 72 participants from 32 SAR, DAR, CAR chapters and societies. We have 26 Color Guard members taking part in today's ceremony, and we thank all of them for their participation as we continue to embrace and share our mission together. We gathered today to commemorate the lives and service of 5 Revolutionary War patriots, their families, and their community. Surely, without these veterans' contribution to the cause of liberty, we would not enjoy the blessing of freedom that we have today. And the markers that we will uncover today are an expression of our heartfelt thanks that they serve to remind us of our obligations and responsibilities in maintaining this republic. On behalf of the Fairfax Resolves chapter and its 180 members, I welcome you to this grave marking dedication ceremony. We hope you enjoy our efforts to honor the patriots we recognize today. And at this time, I will invite Carl Woodcock, President of the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter, to make welcoming remarks on behalf of his chapter.
Thank you. I didn't hear him say brief, so I brought a few pages here, if you don't mind. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to the joint grave marking ceremony, brought to you by the Fairfax Resolves Chapter, Virginia Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, and the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart Chapter of the Maryland Society of the Sons of the American But it's not just these two SAR chapters involved in making this grave marking ceremony happen today. There are members of a few other SAR chapters involved, some Daughters of the American Revolution, as well as the Children of the American Revolution. Many of the people here today are members of the SAR and the DAR and the CAR, but for those of you who are not, I'd like to say a few words about the SAR. The National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and teaching American history to future generations. As the largest male genealogical society in the country, SAR boasts tens of thousands of active members in over 550 chapters across the United States and many international chapters. Prominent SAR members include 16 U.S. presidents, U.S. senators and representatives, local business and community leaders, as well as foreign dignitaries such as Winston Churchill and Kings Juan Carlos I and Felipe IV of Spain. The Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter is based mainly in the Frederick area of Maryland. Sergeant Everhart's parents and siblings all lived here in Lovettsville, Virginia. Sergeant Everhart owned land in Lovettsville, Virginia, and might have lived here at some point. Following his service in the war, he became ordained as a minister, and Reverend Everhart retired to his home near Middletown, Maryland, where he resided until his death in 1840. The Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter was issued a charter by the National Society in 1920, so last year was our 100th anniversary. Unfortunately, we were unable to have the big anniversary celebration we were planning due to the unusual times we've been through. So, happy anniversary to Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter. Thank you for coming out today, and I hope you enjoyed the ceremony, and I hope you learned something interesting today.
Thank you. I would like to extend warm greetings, and we'll start off first. Would any of you that are descendants of patriots that are buried in this cemetery please raise your hand and identify yourselves?
Don Cooper.
Don Cooper.
William George coming from Michael Cooper.
Very good.
That's mine also.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to extend warm greetings to the rest of our special guests.
Another gal in the back.
I'm sorry?
Jenny Russell Peterberg.
Very good. Anybody else?
Lee McGackey.
Yes?
Cheryl Davis, Top Paul, BAR.
Are there any other descendants? Okay, as for our special guests, I would like to recognize that the Nathan O. Fontaine, the mayor of the city of Lovettsville, is here. Pastor Krista could not make it, I understand, but Pastor Ronald England is here, and he has spoken to you. Michael Zapp of the church historian is here. Jeff Thomas, president of the Virginia Society of the SAR, is here. Gene Moyer, color guard commander and past president of the Maryland Society, is here. Bill Schwecke, Pat Kelly, and Larry McKinley, past presidents of the Virginia Society, are here. Sarah Cox, the president of the Virginia Society of the Children of the American Revolution. Stacy Wojciechowski, senior. You know, I used to work with when I was a policeman, my partner was Polish. And I had no problem with his name. But, anyway, Senior President of the Virginia Society of the Children of the American Revolution, and Mike Weiler, Governor, Virginia Society, Founders and Patriots of America. Mike, okay. I would now like to invite Mayor Fontaine to come forward and make a few greetings on behalf of the city.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Can everyone hear me, or do we need this? Use the mic? All right, sounds good. We'll use the mic. All right, so thank you all for coming out to the town of Lovettsville. My name is Mayor Nate Fontaine, and I'm honored to actually be here. In our Memorial Day ceremony, we mentioned that from the American Revolution to the current operations against terrorism, over 1 million men and women have made the supreme sacrifice while serving in conflicts. And we honor all of them, but today we're gathering here to honor and remember some of our earliest veterans, those who fought to create these United States of America. As residents of these great United States of America, we're eternally grateful to those that risked literally everything for those values laid out so eloquently in our Declaration of Independence. Those that were willing to stand up against the oppressive government with, at the time, the world's strongest military might, to fight and demand for our freedoms. The 5 patriots being honored here today are a subset of Revolutionary War veterans that we've got throughout the town of Lovettsville. However, these veterans that we're honoring today still have names that are common in and around Lovettsville and Brunswick. These families have contributed much to the area, and their names are sewn into our current events as well as the history. And from the town of Lovettsville, we thank you for allowing us and joining to honoring the Axline family, the householders, Roller, Stotzenberger, and the Wirtz family, who, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor Nathan Brown from Brunswick is actually a descendant through the Wirtz line as well. So again, thank you all for organizing and hosting today's event and reminding us of these brave patriots. In particular, I want to definitely thank the Sons of the American Revolution, the different chapters here that are represented, as well as the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Children of the American Revolution. I want to thank you all, each one of you who have come out to remember those heroes who have set the foundation for the America that we love today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor Fontaine. Before you leave,
Oh, wow.
the Fairfax Resolve chapter would like to present you with this certificate of our appreciation. It is mounted in a shadow box with a flag that was flown over Mount Vernon. And we hope you enjoy the
Thank you very much, sir.
certificate.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much.
I would now like to take this opportunity to invite some of our Lineage Society leaders to come up and bring greetings, beginning with Jeff Thomas, President of the Virginia Society of the Sons of the American Revolution.
Thank you, President Cook. It is my honor to bring greetings on behalf of the Virginia Sons of the American Revolution, our 29 chapters, and over 2,300 members at this Patriot Grave Marking ceremony here at New Jerusalem Lutheran Church. The church here dates to 1765, which was a full decade before our nation declared its independence. And I understand the actual earliest legible gravestone in this area is in the cemetery here dating to 1770. So it's such a special day to be able to come here and to recognize and mark the graves of these in the cemetery who made our independence possible. I want to thank the Fairfax Resolve chapter and the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter for hosting this event today and for all those who helped to make this special day possible. Thank you for all for being here and taking part in this ceremony. We honor these patriot ancestors today by by remembering their contributions to the legacy of liberty they left for us.
Thank you, Jim. I'd now like to call upon Eugene Moyer, Color Guard Commander and past president of the Maryland Society, to bring greetings.
Long way around.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to send greetings from Maryland. This is one of the first joint events we've held, and I hope we hold many more. And I want to thank the Resolve chapter for the invitation. Greatly accepted. Our state president couldn't make it. He's got a conflicting event today. But I'm here, and I want to thank you personally for the invitation. That we all hope it's a good day for all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite Martin Kieserker. All right. Second Vice President, West Virginia State Society.
Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here to represent my state, the West Virginia Society, and President John Turley. It's always a pleasure to see history lovers here. We all know that we have heroes behind us, and we're always conscious of the contribution they made. I pray that we may spread the word, though, about what these gentlemen have done for our country. Spread it to the youth, everyone that you come in contact. Spread the love of history and spread the word about these patriots, these heroes that paved the road for the freedoms that we share and the freedoms that we love. Again, thank you for allowing me to participate, and for all the organizers, this is a great event. Thank you very much.
I now call on Pat Kelly, past president of Virginia Society and a member of the French Society, to bring greetings.
I bring you greetings from the 638 members of the French Society, which is another society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Their purpose is to perpetuate the memory of the Frenchmen who fought with the Americans during the American Revolution. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's also a great pleasure to be here with a multi-society meeting and with the ladies of the NSDAR. And I thank you, sir.
Sarah Cox, president of the Virginia Society, Children of the American Revolution. Stacy.
On behalf of the Virginia Society Children of the American Revolution, I bring greetings. I am honored to be here today for this special grave marking ceremony. We are here today to remember these brave and noble patriots who sacrificed so much for us so that we may have our freedoms. Let us honor and pay tribute to these great heroes. I pray that we never forget all the brave and noble patriots. May we always honor their legacy and remember their great deeds. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah and Stacy. Mike Weiler, Governor, Virginia Society, Order of the Founders and Patriots of America.
Thank you, President Cook. Greetings, and on behalf of the Virginia Society of the Order of the Founders and Patriots of America, I bring greetings. Today we commemorate those patriots who took up arms to turn a country of 13 colonies into an independent nation. While we honor the patriots who gave birth to our republic, the Order of Founders and Patriots also honors the patriots' ancestors, the founders of America who came to our shores a century and a half earlier to create something new, a country built on liberty and self-government. If What's past is prologue. Then the founders of America in the early 17th century set the stage for the fight for independence taken by the patriots we honor here today, those who created the United States of America. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
I will now call on Michael Zapp to tell us about the history of the New Jerusalem Lutheran Church.
Yeah, this is on, right? Good afternoon. I'm Michael Zapp, and welcome to New Jerusalem Lutheran Church. New Jerusalem was organized in 1765 as part of Frederick, Maryland's Evangelical Lutheran Church's charge. At the time, it was known as the German Lutheran Church at the Short Hill. The northernmost point of Virginia has been known as the German settlement since probably the 1730s. Our sister congregation, St. James United Church of Christ, then known as the German Reformed Church, was established in 1733 and is located now in Lovettsville. New Jerusalem's first structure stood in the corner of the cemetery to your left, in the back corner there. It was a log structure, possibly 2 stories. The original parsonage with the school built in the 1830s is the building on the other side of the fence, which you cannot see, but you can see the garage there. The land, some 20 acres, was granted by Thomas Lord Fairfax. The deed was the deed that first documents the New Jerusalem Church is dated October of 1797. The present church is the 4th church to be erected on the foundations of a church that burned in 1868. The original families and individuals who were members of the congregation had their origins from Switzerland, Alsace and Lorraine, now part of France, the Upper Rhine territories of Württemberg, Baden, and the Palatinate in Germany. Not all of them were first-generation immigrants. Many were second and third generation from Pennsylvania, New York, and Maryland. Among them were French Huguenots, Protestants, who first sought refuge from religious persecution in France and had assimilated and acculturated for a generation or more in the German territories. Our old cemetery is the final resting place of at least 18 patriots of the Revolution and the War of 1812 and their kin. We remember and honor them for their service to their country, the risks they took and dangers endured to establish a free republic and a new nation. Remember also that they went on after the warfare to raise their families, till the soil, build homes and businesses, to pray and sing God's praises, and finally to close their eyes and rest here in sure and certain hope of the resurrection. The mettle of the faith that sustained them is reflected in the words of the old Lutheran hymn, A Mighty Fortress, that they sang, and we still sing here at New Jerusalem. God's word forever shall abide, no thanks to foes who fear it, for God himself fights by our side with weapons of the Spirit. If they take our house, goods, fame, child or spouse, wrench our life away, they cannot win the day. The kingdom's ours forever. Thank you. Thank you.
I now call on Don Cooper to tell us about his patriot ancestor, John Axline. Don has 3 patriots buried in this cemetery. Hopefully we'll mark the other graves in the near future.
Thank you very much. My patriot that I joined originally, I joined the Sergeant Major John Champ chapter. I originally joined the Sergeant Major John Champ chapter in Loudoun County, and then joined later the Fairfax Resolves. And this was the patriot I used, which was John Exline. So Johannes or John Exline was born in 1739 and died in 1823, was the son of George Christopher, who was born in 1705 and died in 1768, from Alsace, Germany, who had immigrated. His father had immigrated in 1727 on the Neptune to Philadelphia. His father, Christoph, or sometimes referred to as Christopher, settled in Pikesland Township in Chester County, Pennsylvania, with his wife, Maria Margaret Moeller. The couple had 5 children: Catherine, Henry, Adam, George, and John. John Exline married in 1771 in Loudoun County Christina Mertz, the stepdaughter of his brother Adam Exline. With Christina, they had 10 children: David, John, Charlotte, Elizabeth, Jacob, Daniel, Catherine, Philip, another John after the death of the first John, Anne Marie. John served as a private in Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Posey's battalion of the 3rd Regiment. On the muster roll of 18 April 1782, it said that he had enlisted for 6 months, and then another record says that he had served for 41 days. In September 1784, a certificate states that a sum of £16, 19 shillings was given to him as payment for his services. He also did public service by providing beef to the cause. I am a descendant, again, of John Exline. His daughter, Charlotte, married Philip Everhart, who, believe it or not, was the brother of those of you who are here from Maryland, Sergeant Lawrence Everhart. Charlotte and Philip, in turn, had a daughter, Delilah. And Delilah Everhart married John Copeland. And John Copeland's grandfather was John C. Copeland, who was from Hillsborough. He and his other 2 brothers, Andrew and Richard, served in the Revolutionary War. Then Delilah and John, they had a daughter, Sarah. And Sarah married George Washington McGackey. His grandfather was William Bagehot, who had served in the American Revolution, and whose father had come over here with General Braddock during the French and Indian War and went to Winchester and went with him fighting the war against the British and the Indians. Then Sarah and George Washington McGackey had a daughter, Rosa, who then married Tom Riley. They had a daughter, Lula Virginia, who married William Joseph Kaufman, whose grandfather served in the Virginia 12th Cavalry during the Civil War. And then they had a daughter, Catherine Kaufman, who married Charles Cooper, whose 5th great-grandfather was Michael Cooper. And finally me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. I now call on Fred Michael to read a short biography on John Stossenberg.
Thank you, sir. I'm Fred Michel, Secretary of the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter out of Frederick County, Maryland. I'm thrilled to be here. This is my first interstate trip for the Maryland, with regard to the Maryland SAR in my chapter, although I did visit the national headquarters in Louisville when a lady friend of mine was singing. She's a mezzo-soprano. I'm thrilled that there seems to be an Alsatian presence here somehow today. My family goes back to Alsace on my father's side, and I did just sort of a extemporaneous thing. I did find out there were about 300 Strasburgers that participated in the American Revolution. I'm also active in the Alsatians of New York, although New York is a hike. Okay, I'm here to help honor Johannes Conrad Stautzenberger, who was born in April of 1762 in York County, Pennsylvania. His parents were Conrad Stautzenberger and Catherine Firestone. He was the second of 19 children. On July 26, 1777, when he was but 15 years old, John, as he was called then, enlisted as a musician of artillery, in other words, a drummer, into the Captain Nathaniel Irish's company of artillery artificers. I think that's a group of artillerymen. I'm sorry I haven't actually looked up artificers, but I promise you I will. His enlistment was for 3 years, but it seems to have lasted for the duration, and I'm using quotation marks around the duration. John rose to become the company drum major and highly responsible position charged with delaying commands to the troops. Earlier in 1777, George Washington had directed Colonel Benjamin Flower, the Pennsylvania Commissary of Military Stores, to recruit a regiment. Thank you, Will. To recruit a regiment of artillery artificers. This organization was originally established in York, Pennsylvania, and it is likely that this is where young John enlisted. The regiment, which manufactured cannon, guns, ammunition, and wagon carriages for the Army, moved at some point to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which, as most of us know, is today's home of the U.S. Army War College. And Captain Irish's company moved with the regiment. This company, also known as Company B, was what was known as the Depot Company and operated from a fixed location at Carlisle, Pennsylvania until sometime around 1780. At that point, Captain Irish was sent with some officers to West Ham, Virginia, in Henrico County near Richmond to set up an armory to supply 2 companies of artillery. Although Captain Irish was sent to Virginia, most of his company was absorbed into Company E, that's E as in Echo, to the Regiment of Artillery Artificers led by Captain Thomas Wiley, which is still at Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We know that John Stautzenberger was there because he is enlisted on the roll of the company late commanded by Captain Nathaniel Irish, which was signed by Captain Wiley on the 10th of April, 1780. In 1782, Captain Wiley's company was also sent to Virginia. They went to New London near Lynchburg. This is the site of the State Arsenal, was the site of the State Arsenal, which became the Federal Arsenal, and which supported both the Southern campaign of General Nathanael Greene and the Ohio campaign of George Rogers Clark in the 1790s. This arsenal was moved to Harper's Ferry, where it remained until the Civil War, or just prior to the Civil War, I think, with the involvement with Lee there. Although John's 3-year term of enlistment would have been up in 1780, he seems to have continued in service since at one point in his military pension record, he is listed as serving in the Virginia line. I'm using quotation marks for Virginia line. In 1784, following his military service, he married Maria Margareta Ricci. I hope I pronounced that right. Her name was mistranslated as kitchen in the church and other records. The heir was discovered by Michael Zapp, who is here today. Thank you, Mr. Zapp, wherever you are. Thank you for that correction. We don't know exactly what Stausenberger or when Stausenberger moved to Loudoun County. He purchased the land here in 1789, which is also the first year that he appears on the Loudoun County tax rolls. He owned a number of properties in the Taylorstown, Hoyesville area, which is but a few miles east of here. In 1796, he acquired land between the Lovettsville Road and Taylorstown Road, where he built a house in the German style, which still exists today and is known as the Fowler House. Another house on which the Stausenberger farmstead is located is in the Echo Village north of Taylorstown. In the 1790s, he served as a captain in the Loudoun County Militia, and he operated a store in Hoystown north of Taylorstown. John and Maria and their family were active members of the New Jerusalem Lutheran Church, as it is shown in the church records. John and Maria had 7 children between 1787 and 1801. Stausenberger received a military pension of $104 per year beginning September 1831 and lasting to his death in 1837. Maria received a widow's pension that lasted until her death in 1847, and they were buried next to each other in this very cemetery, as are some of their children as well. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Fred. I'll now call upon compatriot Forrest Cranes to talk to us about Patriot Peter Wirtz.
Peter Philip Wirtz was born about 13 April 1738 and died 22 May 1798. The son of William Wirtz and Anna Katharina, the family left their home in Tauberbischofsheim, Baden, Germany, and sailed for the American colonies when Peter Philip was about 15 years old. They arrived at the port of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the 23rd of September, 1753, sailing from Rotterdam via Cowes, England, aboard the ship Neptune, mastered by John Mason. Both his father, Wilhelm Wirtz, and Peter are listed on the ship's manifest. Many of those who arrived on the ship Neptune in September of 1753 were from Tauberbischofsheim, Baden, Germany. They are reported to have settled in Lehigh, Pennsylvania, and to have been of Lutheran faith. Peter was reportedly naturalized in New Jersey in 1755 and married in Frederick, Maryland in 1758. His wife, Christina, is believed to be the daughter of an unknown Eberhard, or Everhart, has been mentioned in other families in this area before. He and his wife had as many as 8 children: Michael, John, Christina, Wilhelm, Jacob, Anna Marie, George Peter, and Katharina. They apparently settled initially in Maryland for a period of time because it was there that Peter Wirtz gave patriotic service to the American Revolution by providing supplies to the Continental troops in 1782 while they were living in Frederick County, Maryland, in the form of 10 bushels of wheat, as that's recorded. Following the American Revolution, the family moved to Virginia. Peter first appears in Loudoun County, Virginia in the 1787 census and is recorded in the personal property tax list for the year 1787 for Loudoun County. He resided on a farm of 136 acres, tract of land near Lovettsville, Virginia, quote, 5 miles from Harper's Ferry and 6 from Waterford in Loudoun County, Virginia, unquote. Upon Peter's passing in 1798, he was buried here in New Jerusalem Lutheran Cemetery, where both his father and his mother had previously been buried. His wife, Christina, would be laid to rest near him after her death on the 20th of June in 1813. Several of his children would also be interned here, including Michael, Jacob, Anna, Marie, John, and Christina. Thank you.
I now call on compatriot Ed Spanis to talk about his ancestor, or patriot Adam Householder.
Now, Adam Householder is not my patriot. My patriot was in Frederick, Maryland, which is one of the reasons, even though I'm from here, I joined the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter. So a little bit about Adam Householder. He was born in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania in 1746 and was baptized at the Warwick Lutheran Church in Brickerville. He was the son of Johann Adam Householder and Maria Elizabeth Weidman. His father, Johann, had emigrated from Europe to Pennsylvania in 1739. During the 1750s, the family, that is his parents, Adam, and his siblings, moved to Berks County, Pennsylvania. 1770, he married Catherine Bechtel. On a 1773 tax list in Berks County, he was a farmer holding 100 acres of land, 50 of which were cultivated. In 1777, he sold his land in Berks County, and after that moved his family to Washington County, Maryland. For those of you who don't know, Washington County had just split off from Frederick County in 1776. In Washington County, he served as a private second class in the Washington County Militia, Captain Peter Swingle's company. Additionally, he took the oath of fidelity and support to the government of Maryland in 1778, and he provided additional patriotic service by supplying clothing for the use of the military in 1778. In 1780, Adam and his wife Catherine were listed as baptism sponsors at the Zion German Reformed Church in Hagerstown. Shortly after that, they moved across the river to Loudoun County, to this area here, then known as the German settlement. Adam leased land from George William Fairfax in 1781. In 1798, his son Daniel bought this leased land, which remained in the Householder family into the 1900s. The house, which was enlarged a couple of times, still stands today on Householder Road, actually Householder Road near the intersection with Axline Road. And I've seen the house. It's quite interesting. He bought additional land in 1789, on which he grew wheat and raised hogs. Adam was a member of this church here, then out in the corner of the cemetery, as Mike Zapp said, which was then known as the German Lutheran Church at the Short Hill. When Mike mentioned that the property was deeded to the church in 1797, Adam Householder was one of the church trustees that signed on that deed from George William Fairfax's nephew, Ferdinando Fairfax. The figure is before this in 1794, Adam's wife Catherine had died. The translated burial record reads, Adam Householder's wife Catherine, buried September 10th, 1794, aged 44 years, 6 months, less 7 days. Her headstone reads, in memory of Catherine Householder, wife of Adam Householder of Loudoun County, and then the date she died. In 1796, Adam, who had 3 children with Catherine, remarried to Susan Rickard, who was the widow of Simon Rickard, who was most likely Johann Simon Rickard, who was actually a Hessian soldier who had been in the Frederick's barrack and then deserted and settled in this area here. So she had 3 children from her first marriage, and they had 3 more. Adam died in 1804. He was buried next to his first wife, Catherine. He left 3 children by his first wife, Adam, Daniel, and Eve. So Adam and Eve was somebody in between. And then Susanna, Gideon, and Solomon by his second wife. The inscription on his headstone, which is back out to my right here, reads, in memory of Adam Householder, who departed this life September 27th, 1804, aged 55 years. Farewell, my spouse and children dear, as you must yet remain. The Lord of hosts be your defense until we meet again.
Thank you, Ed. I now call on David Huxell to read a biography of Patriot Conrad Roller.
Conrad Roller was born March 3rd, 1752 in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, to Johannes Andreas David Roller and Rosina Roller. Conrad's father, whose name was anglicized to John, was born November 28, 1730 in Geisingen, Villingen, Baden-Württemberg in what is now Germany. His mother is presumed to have been born in what is now Germany as well. His parents had initially resided in Philadelphia County in 1750. The Roller family then moved to Loudoun County, Virginia after September 11th, 1765. Conrad Roller is first mentioned in the 1771 tithe list for Shelburne Parish as a single tithable. Conrad Roller's military service consisted of 2 tours in the Army. According to his wife's pension, he served as a private for 4 to 6 months in Pennsylvania before they were married. Conrad had married Elizabeth Slates of Pine Hundred, Frederick County, Maryland, in Loudoun County on March the 21st, 1779. On March 19, 1781, he and his brother John, who were both identified as planters, were drafted for an 18-month period. They were inducted into the Virginia Continental Line at the old Albemarle Courthouse on that date. In April 1782, before both he and his brother were listed in the 1st Company, possibly under the command of Captain William George, 3rd Virginia Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Posey. According to Lieutenant Colonel Posey's service record, the regiment had just returned to Camp Ebenezer from service in Georgia under the command of General Anthony Wayne. Both Conrad and John appear not to have been mustered out until December 1783, a period considerably longer than their term of enlistment. This record confirms statements found in Elizabeth's pension record that he did not return for a long time after serving his 18 months, that he helped guard prisoners at Frederick Barracks in Maryland. After military service on April 1st, 1785, he was able to secure a long-term lease from George William Fairfax for 105 acres on the Dutchman Creek, which is just west of the present town of Lovettsville. Later in life, Conrad purchased 54 acres from Fernando Fairfax for $328. The property acquired in July 1803 was described as a tract of wooded land on the south side of Short Hill. Conrad Roller passed away October 8th, 1824 at the age of 72 years, 7 months, 1 week, and 5 days. Elizabeth passed away on February 25th, 1845, age 83 years, 2 months, and 11 days. The couple had 11 children, and 2 died young. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, David. We now come to that part in our ceremony where we dedicate the grave marker. Before I begin, I will ask you to join in with 3 rousing huzzahs, and if our volunteers would move out to the graves. This will signal our volunteers to stand by the graves for the unveiling. I'll now ask John Thomas to come and read the marker dedication.
Three steps forward. Mark.
Okay, as from now back to the three huzzahs. Hip hip, huzzah! Hip hip, huzzah! Hip hip, huzzah!
Present. Ha!
By placing this Revolutionary War and war grave marker near your gravestone in this cemetery, we attribute recognition to you for your outstanding service. God bless you, and God bless these United States of America for which you fought. We are ever so humble in your presence.
Thank you, John. And one more cheer will signal our volunteers to unveil the markers. Hip hip.
Huzzah!
We will now move to the wreath presentation portion of the ceremony. And as I call off your name of your society or chapter, please present honors and then stand behind your wreath and present facing the graves. And I begin with Robert Bruce, Norfolk chapter historian. Jeff Thomas, President of the Virginia Society. Pat Kelly, member of the French Society, and on behalf of the Thomas Jefferson chapter. Marty Kiesecker, second vice president, West Virginia Society. Carl Woodcock, president on behalf of the Sergeant Lawrence Everhart chapter. Charles Jameson, president on behalf of the Culpeper Minutemen chapter. David Button, compatriot on behalf of the Colonel William Grayson chapter. Mark Robinson, president on behalf of the Colonel John James Wood II chapter, which by happens to be the best chapter of its size in the nation. Paul Cox, compatriot, Colonel Fielding Lewis chapter. John Sink on behalf of the George Mason chapter. Stephen Engelbright, Board of Managers member on behalf of the General Adam Stevens chapter, West Virginia SAR. Thomas Ross III, President, George Washington Chapter, Virginia Society, SAR. Craig Smith, President, John Hanson Chapter, Maryland Society, SAR. Bill Schwecke, past Vice President, on behalf of the Major K.M. Van Zant Chapter, Texas Society, SAR. John Lynch, Color Guard Commander, Williamsburg Chapter, Virginia Society, SAR. Francis Leonard Hartley, Region, Frederick Chapter, National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. Dr. Cheryl Brown Davis, Honorary Regent on behalf of the Charles Carroll Chapter, NSDAR. Pamela Shower, daughter on behalf of the Elizabeth McIntosh Hamill Chapter. Nancy Waterford, daughter on behalf of the Ketchikan Chapter, NSDAR. Marilyn Kiesiger, Second Vice Regent on behalf of the Pack Horse Chapter, NSDAR. Jennifer Kelly, First Vice Regent on behalf of the Montpelier Chapter, NSDAR. Lynn Maines Jenkins, Regent on behalf of the Henry Clay Chapter, NSDAR. Patricia Phillips Hold, Regent on behalf of the Fairfax County Chapter, NSDAR. Sharon Kemper Schwartz, Regent, Carrollton Manor Chapter, NSDAR. Sarah Cox, President, and Stacy, Senior President on behalf of the Virginia Society, Children's of the American Revolution. Anna Cox, President, Colonel Alexander Spotswood Society, Virginia Society, Children of the American Revolution. And Michael Taylor, Governor Weiler, Governor on behalf of the Virginia Society, Orders of the Founders and Patriots of America. Is there anyone else here that wishes to present greetings or a wreath? David Huxell, my own chapter. Thank you. Is there anybody else? Thank you all so very much. I will now call, yes, you can be seated now, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now call on Dale Corey to lead us in singing of the America the Beautiful. As a way of reminder to those that are seeking credit for the grave marking medal robustly singing along qualifies you under the category of music.
All right, if everybody
I'm sorry.
please join me. We're going to sing America the Beautiful, and we're going to honor all the patriots that are buried here. So let them hear it. There's a lot of them here to listen. Oh, beautiful for spacious sky, and the waves of rain, for purple mountains, majesties, above the frozen plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Thank you.
Thank you all. It is also a reminder, I am going to be sending out grave marker information so that you can apply for the medal at the latest tomorrow. If you do not receive an email from me, please send me an email and I'll send you the information. Color Guard Commander, and this is probably the moment we've all been waiting for. Conduct a musket salute.
Private Lou! Make ready! Present! Fire! Private Lou! Make ready! Present! Fire! Private Lou! Make ready! Present! Fire! Color on!
Following the musket salute, Floyd Barr will play Chester, a tone played at George Washington's funeral.
Present! On!
How about a rousing cheer for our message squad and our fire. I will now call on compatriot Richard Weaver to lead us in the SAR recessional, the rehearsals in the back of the program.
Please follow me in saying the recessional as in the back of the program. Until we meet again, let us remember our obligations to our forefathers who gave us our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, an independent Supreme Court, and a nation of free men.
Thank you, Richard. Now I'll call on Larry McKinley to lead us in our benediction.
Let us take a moment and reflect. Almighty God, help us to remember that freedom does not automatically perpetuate itself, that we have to work at it, nurture it, and pray for it. Almighty God, we pause at the close of this meeting to acknowledge again your sovereignty over our lives and our country. We remember before you our comrades now departed this life. We honor them for their loyalty in helping create our freedoms and their loyalty to you. May their gifts of freedom and a strong nation they helped build be an inspiration to us as we seek, with your guidance, to preserve them. May they rest in peace. Now let us go forth into the world in peace and dedicated to your service. Give us safe journey to our homes and give us peace this day and forever.
Thank you all very much for coming out here today. It's been a wonderful ceremony. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. A few words. The SAR is committed to honoring the brave legacy of our forefathers in their quest for American independence. If anyone would like to learn more about the SAR, the DAR, the CAR, there are many knowledgeable representatives here today from all of these societies who would be glad to tell you about them. Just walk right up and ask. Lisa, thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that worked so hard for so long, setting this ceremony up and making it a great success. How about a round of applause? Thank you.
As a way of reminder, if you haven't signed the log up at the front table there, which you do, please do so before leaving. It took the efforts of many people to make this grave marking ceremony possible. And we want to thank our honored Lineage Society guests for coming today. We also thank the many members of the New Jerusalem Lutheran Church and this community that have come together to support this commemoration on our patriot ancestors and their families. This concludes our ceremony. Please visit the cemetery and enjoy the rest of your day. For those of you I identified earlier in an email, please meet me over by the table. Thank you. Have a good day.